All right, welcome back, everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I am back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 replay cast. Today we have got ourselves a good match. It should be a great match, as a matter of fact. It is from the King of Battles tournament, which was an awesome online tournament that featured literally the best players in the world. And I thought, I'll cast this match just because I didn't see it personally, and so it means I want to check it out. And that's one of the blessings of missing a StarCraft 2 tournament as someone who commentates it. It's like, because I don't like commentating things that I've seen before. It's like watching like a thriller movie that you know what's gonna happen. The surprise isn't there. And so we have got two great players, two of the best players in the world. In the bottom left-hand side of the map, we've got Cure. And in the top right-hand side of the map, we have got Reynor. So we have got, if not the best, one of the best, top two Zergs in the world. Maybe top three if you compare him to Rogue. Rogue and Dark. So, yeah. Reynor, he's really darn good at the game. He's the young, talented, he's the whiz kid. He's the young, talented player. And Cure, he is this Terran player who everyone kind of slept on for a bit, but now everyone's really starting to realize how good he is after he made it to a GSL Finals. But then after the GSL Finals, he's kind of fallen off a bit compared to being... although it's pretty easy to fall off a bit when you're a GSL finalist, and then all of a sudden you aren't. Let me just check the settings here, by the way. All right, music. Gotta make sure we got the tunes on, don't we? That's better. But yeah, so it's exciting to see Cure taking on Reynor. I think Cure's TvZ is pretty darn good. Reynor, he's got pretty good ZVT too, I'd say. I'd say probably his best matchup is probably his ZVZ, if I had to say, just because he takes down Serral all the time. And that's where he gets, you know, he beats everyone else no problem, but then he really gets his big wins off of Serral. And so yeah, I think it's exciting to see Cure taking on Reynor. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do enjoy this kind of high-level match, I know that it had been cast in other places, but if you do enjoy my coverage of it, go ahead and hit that like button, and it'll show me that you guys want to see more of players like Cure and Reynor. And so now we take a look. We have got Cure just killing off Reynor's first Overlord with his Marines. That's a rather nice catch. And then going to be throwing up a third CC. Terrans have really been liking their 3cc play lately. I think it's just because as the meta gets more defined, it basically becomes harder to cheese out someone going for a greedy opening. And so Terrans are a lot less likely to die to something like an early Roach Ravager push these days. Like, someone like Cure's probably going to scout it out, sniff it out. Although, as far as this game goes, Cure's not really scouting at all till he gets out his two Hellions. It's actually Reynor who's electing to go for the pneumatized Carapace upgrade. This is going to allow his Overlords to have speed. They'll basically be the gas Overlords, as they'll just zoom all over the place. And 3 Marines, probably not going to be enough to kill them. 1 Marine definitely isn't. The fact that Cure went for 3, maybe, just maybe he'll be able to grab an Overlord, but I really do doubt it. There's always a chance, but yeah, pretty doubtful that he'll be able to kill off one of these Overlords. We see Cure now moving out on the map with his Hellions. He's going to try and scout out what he can. The Overlord is starting to take some shots. Cure does want to try and grab this guy if possible. It's pretty doubtful he'll be able to get it, though, all the while Cure starting to push out on the front with his Hellions. Almost gets this Overlord. It's going to be close. Run, buddy, run. Yeah, the Marine not quite quick enough to catch and shoot. He's got to stop to shoot a speedy Overlord. And so, good for Reynor that he kept that Overlord alive. If you lose an Overlord when you've got pneumatized Carapace, you generally did something wrong. Now, behind this build, we have got Cure going to be getting up a command center. And going to be having himself a 3cc meal. Lots of tasty minerals he can mine up, dropping those mules like a boss. Just saying, hey, how's it going, mule, bruh? And yeah, now they're gonna be mining lots. Here, he's now gonna be starting to pump out Marines now that his production's really going. He's elected for the fast 2 racks play off the back of his 3cc, so he'll have out a decent number of Stim Marines rather quickly. And we actually saw Cure just commit on in with his Hellions He committed 1 Hellion to grab 4 drones. That's rather good of him. He's got his 3rd CC. It's going to be landing. And the fact that he's already got these Stim Marines means that he's going to be able to start applying pressure to Reynor, even though he doesn't have a ton of production. And he's just got a ton of minerals, so he's like, okay, well, I can make these Marines non-stop. I can make these Hellions non-stop. And he's actually going to be making a Medivac, too, with an armory on the way. So Kier, he's going to be going for a 3cc sort of Marine Hellion Hellbat push. And this is actually a push that can be very strong against Zerg. Right now, Reynor's just thinking about droning up. He's thinking, all right, my opponent's 3cc. It's going to take a while for him to get his production online. But has he sniffed out the fact that Kier is going to be going for a push like this? I'm not sure. There are the Queens here for Reynor, which will help zone this out, but these are Stim Marines, so he's got to be careful. The Hellions now morphed into Hellbats to beef up this push that Kier's got. These Marines put out a lot of damage on the Queens. One of them gets injured, but doesn't get target fired down yet. Kier's just focusing on the Marines, I guess. Can target down that injured Queen. No, she gets transfused, so Kier kind of delaying finishing her off. But we do see this push getting a lot of damage done as he cleans up all of Reynor's army. Cleans up a good number of the Queens. Are these Marines just gonna like stim towards the 3rd? No. Kier decides to pull back. A very wise decision, seeing as how Reynor did just have a big batch of Lings finish up. Another Medivac joins up with this push to help aid it. Behind this, Kier is now getting up his additional barrack. It's rather late compared to a usual push, but this push is really going the distance here as he's cleaning up most of Reynor's Lings once again. And he's just got more Hellions and Marines rallying across the map. The Marines now have combat shields, so they got a lot more HP. Kier behind this. There's his extra barracks all starting to go up. His eBay's going up, so he definitely did delay his additional production due to this. And we are seeing the effect of that. Basically just being that Reynor's now got himself a +1 Carapace upgrade. Lead, Kier's trying to push in towards the 4th base of Reynor, but he's now got Lings at his 3rd base. A really good counterattack by Reynor. These Lings gonna be a little bit more beefy against these Marines trying to clean them up since they do have that +1 Carapace. All the while Kier is trying to push in towards the 3rd base of Reynor, but it looks like this will be an eventual, barely hold by Reynor against this push. Kier, the counterattack really took the wind out of his sails. A few drones are going to go down, but the rallying out Lings should be able to deal with this push. The Marines are just very overstimmed. The Medivac is going to be pushed away. Kier does save most of his Marines, but we do see now that Reynor has stabilized. Things should start to look better for him, holding off that push. The 10 SCV kills behind this pretty much was a necessity, since Reynor had just delayed droning up so much. He's now going to move in for another counterattack, try and grab up a few more SCVs, and he will get some. Gets 4 or 5 SCVs. Even though the units were right there, that's really, really darn good for Reynor. Kier behind this is just getting his production online. We see Kier doesn't have that many units right now. He's just been churning out pretty much the same amount of units non-stop. Now, though, that his reactors are getting online, that his extra barracks are going to be producing, Kier's going to be making a lot more units. He's got his 1-1 on the way, so we saw Kier, he kind of delayed his production to go for that strong push, that strong mid-game push. Now he's got his production online. It's going to look like a proper 3-basing Terran. Kier, he has managed to get a drop-off into the main base of Reynor. Reynor has got some Lings popping out to help deal with this. He's got some Banelings. They did just have Baneling speed finish up, which is very significant. Otherwise, Kier might have been able to target these down, but no! Kier not paying attention to that drop, distracted by this Ling counterattack. He loses everything. That is a huge, huge cleanup by Reynor. Kier just getting caught out there, losing a big, big number of Marines. That was 16 Marines for basically nothing. And that's just because Reynor was counterattacking, keeping Kier busy, and that's one of the real strengths of Reynor. We're going to see Reynor maybe try and dive on in again, just looking for every possible opening he can get, being such a pain. Going to attack this supply depot, break it down, open up a path he can go in later. He says, okay, you still got units there, I'll back out. But I'm going to be coming back, and you got to be ready for it. Reynor behind this, he has got his 2-2 on the way, so he's still got that upgrade lead coming, and it's going to be here real soon. He's got a Hydra Den that just finished up, so he can throw up a Lurker Den. Also getting up an Infestation Pit, so he can get up that Hive, get all of his upgrades going. Yeah, this is looking real darn good here for Reynor now that he's stabilized. That was such a close hold, too. as the Marines were pushing on in for Kier non-stop. That was a rather long attack. Kier's going to try and come back in this game by getting Widowmine drops off. Reynor splits pretty darn well against this. Kier keeps retargeting this Widowmine to be a pain to try and get maximum value out of that. But with Reynor basically finishing up that Overseer, this drop will be done. We see Reynor behind this now. He does lose 6 drones to another Widowmine, or 6 drones in all to the drop, but he's now getting out Hydras. He's just about to have his Lurker Den done. And that's really going to complicate things for Kier. Kier, however, is getting his 4th base on the way. He's going to be able to lock that down, turn it into a PF. And we are going to head into a macro game. I mean, Reynor weathered the storm just barely with his counterattacks. He really got himself back into this game, from where he was definitely at a deficit. Kier, not to be disheartened though, is gonna just go for more Widowmine drops. Able to kill off 10 drones. Nicely done. Cutting into Reynor's drone count, making him make more drones before he gets up more army. This is gonna buy Kier more time to think about how he wants to deal with this Zerg who's reached into the later stages of the game. And if we do take a look right now, Reynor is getting up 6 Lurkers. He's getting up a Hive. Whereas Kier, he is just getting up that PF. He's getting 2-2, but mainly just bio on the docket here for Kier, as he's just going to want to push across the map, probably push everywhere he can once he realizes that this is a primarily Lurker-based composition for Reynor. Widowmine's going to be going for another drop towards Reynor's 3rd base. They're going to burrow super quickly. Reynor not reacting in time with this. It's tough for Zerg to react always in time against this kind of pressure. Widowmine's going to get a shot off here, retargeting that constantly, wanting to just make it so that Reynor's got to pay attention to that mine. And so we see Kier getting himself another 14 of Reynor's drones. Of course, Reynor, a very good Zerg player, making sure that count doesn't drop too low. He's still at 89 with a huge, huge number to back it up, to back up his economy losses. Losing a few more drones to Kier's good positioning with this drop. This does go to show a bit of the weakness for Lurkers in dealing with this kind of thing. Once that adaptive talent is done for the Lurkers, they will reburrow super duper quick though, and becomes much less of a problem. Lurker eats a Widowmine shot. Not every day you're going to see a Lurker eat one of those. Very, very tanky units that doesn't take too much damage. Of course, Reynor, he is losing drones amidst all this, and this is cutting into his production. It's cutting into how quickly he builds up a bank, his Lurker count, his Baneling count, and overall, that is gonna affect Reynor, even though he does a very good job sort of brushing it off by making sure he's replacing those drones right away. Here's gonna get this base in the top left. That's a nice pickoff. Locking down bases is harder with Hydraling Bane composition if you don't have your units in the right position. Behind this, we see Kier say, okay, I'm keeping you on the back foot a little bit, so I'm going to throw up more CCs. We see Kier as well attack on in towards Reynor's 5th base. He's able just to snipe down those Lurkers since there wasn't enough. This bio might eat some friendly fire Widowmines and has to back off. Not enough medivacs really to support this bio for Kier, but he's still going to keep on pushing. He wants to try and grab this hatchery. We'll see if he's able to get it. With the Banelings and Lurkers, he's probably not going to be able to. Simultaneously, he's also pushing onto the left side, forcing Reynor's Lings and Banes off creep without the Lurker support. That's not great for Reynor, seeing as how he already has got a very high drone count, which cuts into his overall army supply. And that basically means that he's down on army supply because he's got a very high drone count. And then it's like he's fighting with even less supply because his Lurkers aren't partaking in the engagement, and that means Kier gets better and better trades as this game goes on. We see him charging in with these Marines and Marauders, going to be getting 8 more drones. He's going to target down this 5th base. This is going to knock Reynor down to 4 bases. I mean, all these units are going to get cleaned on up, but Kier, look at this. He's got an extra orbital hanging around. He's securing up his 5th base, and so he's going to be in a much better economic spot than Reynor realistically. He's pushing through. He's targeting down these Lurkers. Reynor is supposed to be trading this cost-efficient, supposed to be playing this cost-efficient composition with these Lurkers, but it seems that Kier's just getting wins all over the board, and the Zerg player is still on the back foot. Reynor, his position is not any better than it was minutes ago. In fact, it's getting worse. as Kier is just keeping the pressure on his opponent. He's now got tanks to move in. This is going to require a very detailed response from Reynor. It's going to absolutely require the Vipers to deal with this, assuming the Vipers are still alive. Yes, they are. Thank God for that. Reynor can't afford to lose those. But this huge army all of a sudden is coming forward towards Kier's base, while Reynor is actually focused on a counterattack. And the Lurkers, they will run in here. They will be able to get some good damage done. But is Kier going to be able to hold on to this location? The answer is absolutely not. The Lurkers, they put out a lot of damage, but Lurkers alone can't deal with a bio army like this that Kier's got. And so we see Reynor, he just lost a base. Yes, he's really putting the pressure on Kier, but Kier, he kept his SCVs alive. He actually loaded them up into medivacs and is going to give them a high value ride towards the 5th base. All the while this attack is going on. It looks like it will barely be cleaned up by Reynor, but man, has the Zerg player ever taken losses. He's getting attacked on the left side. Looks like he will deal with this drop. Lings are going to get on top of this. Yes, it will be cleaned up on the left. Reynor keeps his base alive on the right-hand side, but he's barely holding on. He is down to 60 drones from 90, almost 100 that he was at earlier. And his army has fallen in supply. Reynor's just in a very, very tough spot. Kier's economy is still just soaring, basically, with this 5th base and extra CC on the way. He's going to be able to reland that 3rd base location. And overall, this is just a really tough spot for Reynor. He's going to move out on the map with his Lurkers, and the Lurkers can deal with Terran Bio very well. Like, I mean, if it's like 10 Lurkers burrowed, you can't stim into that, no matter what. And so we are seeing Reynor try and capitalize on that. Just walk in with these very tanky Lurkers, burrow right on top of the Terran army. The Lurker spines are going to annihilate those siege tanks, annihilate the Bio that's moving forward to try and deal with this, but Kier comes from behind with lots of Marines and Marauders, and he will clean this up. So Reynor, once again, while being very ambitious, he takes a bad trade, basically, and he needs to take really good trades at this point in the game. And he should be able to do that with his Lurkers, with his Vipers. But Kier just seems to be doing so well. He's got an incredible economy to back it up. He's even going into Liberators, which will really complicate things for Reynor. Since Reynor doesn't have any Hydras, really, at the minute to deal with those, it's going to have to be on the Vipers to abduct them and stuff. But man, Reynor's just hanging on by a thread. He's got his 3rd base, but his 4th base, but that's barely mining. His 3rd's barely mining too. He's getting up this 5th base, and he's got to hold on to it. No ands, ifs, or buts. And so if we take a look, Kier, who's going to be pushed towards the left side, might just charge on in and kill off these Lurkers once again. There's 4 Lurkers all clumped up. And yeah, the Mad Lad's actually just going to stim on in, pre-splitting his bow. He's going to target down the Lurkers. Yes, he'll take losses to these high-damaging spines, but it's going to be enough to clean this up. And 4 Lurkers is pretty expensive for a Zerg player who's this broke. Here as well, while this is going on, is getting ready to stage another attack. He's got 6 tanks in all. If he can roll up, get into a good siege tank position, he'll be doing wonderful. These Vipers are going to need some very good blinding clouds or abducts. There's an abduct wanting to whittle down that siege tank count. However, Liberators are coming on in too. Reynor needs a miracle hold here. He's done them in the past, but can he hold on against what Kier has right now? I'm not sure, as these tanks are just going to put him in a very awkward position. Liberator is going to be getting sieged on up. This is going to force Reynor back. The tanks can now inch forward, get on top of this base. Reynor's even consuming the base too. He needs Viper energy that bad. The Liberators are going to be getting abducted, but there's not even much to kill them. The one Hydra is firing on this Liberator. We see Reynor's going to try and move forward to deal with this, but at the same time, he's being attacked on the left side. The good thing is Hive has a lot of HP, otherwise it might just go down, but the actual HP on that Hive, making Kier just elect to go for the drones instead. But man, we take a look right now. Reynor, 48 drones. Kier, 80 SCVs. On top of that, dropping mules. There's, of course, just an overall army supply lead for Kier. Reynor's now starting to play pretty darn cost efficient. I mean, the recent trades anyway, but he's still lost so much this game that he's really at a deficit. Queen tries to plop down a creep doomer, but she gets shot by a tank. That can't be good. And we see Reynor, he's going for a counterattack right now, but he never got the Terran economy to that weakened state, which is like the Terran snowball starts to fail. Instead, Kier's economy has just been cruising now at a very healthy amount. And so we see Reynor, he's trying to get off those Miracle Link counterattacks, but most of Kier's important bases at this point are PFs, so it takes more of a commitment, and we do see Kier, he's actually just going to charge on forward, seeing there's no buffer for these lurkers, not going to take the best trade, as he will lose most of his units, but he kills off like 5 lurkers or so, and he can afford those losses. Reynor really can't, seeing as how this 5th base was indeed killed off. The Zerg player's barely mining this game. The income graph has been in the lead for Kier pretty much since like the 8-minute mark in the game. And that really just goes to show how Kier's lead has been extending and extending. Reynor's going for a big attack. He pretty much says now or never. And he is doing okay with the Lurkers and Hydras, but the Lurkers are going to fall. The Hydras themselves definitely can't compete with 3-3 bio. And so Reynor loses most of his supply. He's down to 98. And Kier is just staying maxed out pretty much, no problem whatsoever. Oh my god, that PF shoots those infested Terran and just makes a giant pile of purple. I guess it's like creep kind of that they ooze out. I don't know, I never really thought about that. But man, oh man, this is a very, very tough spot for the Zerg player. Reynor, he's starting to get up a bit more supply, getting up more Lurkers and Vipers. He's been able to hold on for quite a while this game, past what you'd think past definitely what a normal Zerg would be able to do. But even Reynor, I don't know if he can overcome this position. 115 supply to 200. Kier's completely maxed out. He's got a good-sized Liberator fleet right now. And because of that, the Lurkers are just going to be in big trouble. Reynor knows it's over. Kier beats Reynor in this match. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy the content, hit that like button. As I said before, if you guys like this video, I'm going to do more King of Battles stuff. If you want to join the Discord, that's linked down below. Sub to the channel, it's free. You get me in your sub box. Daily Starcraft 2, which isn't bad. Hit that bell icon if you are going to sub, or if you're a sub who hasn't. You get notified whenever I do a live stream, post a video, do like a premiere, say, that kind of thing. And then if you do want to support the channel, I do put some of the money back into StarCraft, like buying, like, supporting the Alima League, supporting like Wardy to get the replays for the channel, and then just like I did chip in a couple bucks to get the King of Replays battles, which I'm casting right now. So you guys supporting the channel does help improve it. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. This has been LaughNgamez.